What's good, Blur family, man? Hey, the downfall of 10 musicians. So, if they say my favorite rapper in here or some funny games, I'm standing up for him. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see nothing about Kodak Black definitely falling off. Young boy, Lil Durk, all my other favorite rappers, bro. But this should be interesting, man. Your favorite rapper in here? If he tried, I'm gonna let you know he tried.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid.
Welcome to Watch
First one, R.
Mojo.
Kelly.
And today we're counting down our picks
If
for the
he's
most
still on
famous
top,
musicians who
thumbs up.
saw their careers
If he fell
tarnished
off,
by immoral decisions
thumbs down.
and scandals.
As Gary Glitter arrived for sentencing today, gone were both the glamour and the rock.
If you like what
I
you're
don't know
hearing,
that guy.
be sure to check
Thumbs
out the
down.
full song at the link below.
If I get copyright for this song,
CeeLo Green. A once popular R&B singer, CeeLo Green found success
That's a
both
legend.
in groups and
That's a
as a
legend,
solo
bro.
artist. His biggest songs are Crazy with Danger Mouse, which was released under their duo name, Gnarls Barkley, and of course, his solo #2 single, Forget You.
And although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. If I forget you.
But shortly after that song was released, Green was accused of sexual battery and was investigated by the LAPD.
During that dinner, according to prosecutors, he slipped the woman the drug MDMA, also known as ecstasy, before accompanying her to her hotel room.
He was later sentenced to 3 years probation and community service after pleading no contest to furnishing a hallucinogen. His image in the public eye took an even worse downturn when Green made some controversial remarks on Twitter regarding the former of his cases and the general issue of sexual assaults. And that was pretty much it for CeeLo Green's career, as none of his solo singles since Forget You have even charted. Tory Lanez. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez was on the come-up in the mid-2010s. A number of his albums reached the top 5 in America, and his single Love received a Grammy nomination for Best R&B Song.
Oops, I done fell too deep, baby. Oops, I think you got me, baby.
But
I hope
then
I don't
came
get
the night of
copyright
July
notice.
12, 2020. Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion were reportedly attending a house party when Lanez shot her in the foot.
Were you afraid for your life at that
I was
time?
really scared because I had never been shot at before.
He publicly denied the claims, but was charged the following October with a number of felonies related to the possession of a firearm. He was later found guilty on 3 charges and sent to prison for 10 years.
It's unclear at this juncture whether he will be deported to Canada.
While he'll be free early next decade, something tells us that his career will not be able to bounce back. Pete Doherty.
Roger got hit with a mean ad. But that Tory Lanez song, Love, that was very, very groovy back then. I cannot cap. But hopefully.
The world underwent a garage rock revival in the late 90s and early 2000s, spearheaded by bands like The Strokes and The Libertines. The latter saw great success in the United Kingdom with their self-titled album, which reached #1 and spawned the hit single, Can't Stand Me Now.
You can't stand me now. You can't stand me now. You can't stand me now. You can't stand me now. You can't stand me now.
Just as they were finding success, though, frontman Pete Doherty was kicked out due to his inability to successfully treat a substance use disorder. Eventually, co-frontman Carl Barat became unwilling to continue without Doherty, and the band was dissolved at the height of their fame in 2004. Unfortunately, this lightning in a bottle isn't something you can capture twice. Fortunately, Doherty announced that he has refrained from substance use since late 2019, so there's some good news to be found.
No matter how awful the circumstances, I mean, the addicted mind convinces you that, things are all right.
Azalea Banks. While she never found enormous commercial success, Azalea Banks was someone to watch in the early 2010s.
You know what you rich become when her weave in. I just wanna sip that punch with your peeps in. Sit in that lunch if you're treating.
Her debut single 212 was a modest success in the UK, but far more important was its critical appreciation. 212 was met with immediate acclaim and is now heralded as one of the best songs of the decade.
What you got to when I ain't up there? When I ain't prepared.
But Banks disappeared as soon as she arrived, with 212 being her only top 20 song due to a slew of harmful opinions. The singer has long been criticized for her use of social media, often using Twitter, since rebranded to X, to beef with other celebrities and espouse racist, homophobic, xenophobic, and transphobic remarks. It's a lot of phobics, and they effectively derailed Banks' once promising career.
May the bridges we burn light the way.
Kanye West. There was a time when Kanye West was considered a genius. That time was in the 2000s and early 2010s, when the rapper was dropping GOAT albums like Late Registration and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
And while Ye has always been a contentious celebrity whose mental health issues must also be acknowledged, things have gone from enjoyably bonkers to genuinely troubling in recent years. He has expressed a number of disturbing opinions, like claiming that human subjugation is a choice.
For 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
And praising Adolf Hitler. West also made a number of anti-Semitic remarks in 2022, resulting in a flurry of lost business deals and briefly terminated Twitter accounts.
There is a sense of sadness and tragedy when you think about individuals who have known him for so long.
These outspoken beliefs, coupled with some disappointing albums like Donda, have seriously tainted Ye's life and legacy. Marilyn Manson. For a time in the 1990s, Marilyn Manson was considered a negative influence on America's youth, with his lyrics even being studied in congressional hearings. But most people saw through the act and regarded his behavior as performative art.
It's better to use a curse word than to hurt somebody else, I find.
Despite the controversy, Manson continued to sell records and top the charts well into the 2000s. However, he was properly canceled in the early 2020s when several women, including ex-fiancé Evan Rachel Wood, accused him of sexual and psychological abuse.
Violence that begins in the home begets other violence. It's a cycle, and it bleeds into so many problems in our country and our society that we are not even aware of.
Despite a career full of contention and critical prodding, it was these accusations that put Manson away for good. Maybe not behind bars, but certainly in the eyes of the public. 6ix9ine. You may know Daniel Hernandez better as 6ix9ine, the rainbow-haired, face-tatted artist behind songs like Gummo and Fifi.
Draco got that kickback when I blow that thing on the track.
But he is equally known for his criminal behavior and celebrity feuds. In 2015, 6ix9ine pleaded guilty to a nasty felony involving a minor and was arrested again 3 years later on charges of racketeering, among other things. He testified against other members of a street gang he was part of, resulting in a reduced sentence of just 2 years.
After many assumed he would be free this week, Brooklyn rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine has been sentenced to 24 months in prison and a subsequent 5 years of supervised release.
After being released from prison in April of 2020, he saw a brief resurgence with his Nicki Minaj collab, Trolls.
Bye hater.
However, 6ix9ine has largely been unable to capture his pre-prison glory since then. He has also been ostracized from the hip-hop community, making a potential comeback even more unlikely. Gary Glitter. Once a glam rock icon, Gary Glitter turned heads with his dazzling public image and stage presence, which often involved platform boots and glitter suits. But even those who don't know a thing about Gary Glitter have heard some of his most famous songs, Another Rock and Roll Christmas and Rock and Roll Part 2. This astonishing career came to an abrupt end in the late 1990s, however, when Glitter was arrested for downloading some highly illegal material. While he was only sentenced to 4 months in prison, the scandal was enough to permanently tarnish his life and reputation. Glitter faced further charges of sexual misconduct in the 2010s, resulting in a prison sentence of 16 years.
Judge Alistair McCreath told Glitter, "I've read the impact statements of all 3 victims. It is clear in their different ways they were all profoundly affected."
I just got hit with a mean app. Some of them songs are good, like Glitter dude, I don't know him. I don't.
By your abuse of them.
R. Kelly. Once heralded as the king of R&B, R. Kelly has sold over 75 million records and has won 3 Grammys for his mega hit, I Believe I Can Fly.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
While Kelly was embroiled in a famous legal battle throughout the 2000s, he was eventually acquitted and his name was cleared. It remained clear until 2019, when the Lifetime documentary Surviving R. Kelly made numerous sexual abuse claims against him.
He said to continue telling everybody that you were 19 and to act 21.
He was indicted on 18 charges that July, most of which we can't get into here. This eventually led to a prison sentence of 31 years.
I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable for the atrocious things that he did to children.
He ruined both his life and career, and we won't be seeing him again until 2045 at the earliest. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Phil Spector. While not a musician per se, Phil Spector was an extremely successful songwriter and record producer. He wrote the Teddy Bears' #1 single, To Know Him Is to Love Him, and later revolutionized the music industry with his production techniques, including the famous Wall of Sound.
There was just a vitality in the room that would lift you off of your feet. And also, there'd be so many players and the sound would be so huge.
Having worked with the likes of the Beatles, Leonard Cohen, and the Ramones, Spector was a highly regarded figure in the music industry.
He was a Grammy winner and was eventually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
However, he later developed a substance use disorder and entered an extended period of seclusion in the early 1980s. He re-emerged into the public consciousness in 2003 after the murder of a woman named Lana Clarkson.
Lana Clarkson's family wrote that she was a warm, compassionate, kind, loving woman who would be 58 years old now.
Spector was found guilty and sentenced to prison, where he died in 2021. Do you expect to see any of the legacies of these musicians bounce back? Let us know in the comments.
His legacy will forever be that
damn,
of
bro,
a
like he was
convicted
on that
murderer.
job hard.
If you're a fan,
sheesh, boy, that's a damn, you know what I'm saying? You know right there, boy. I stay away from them, for real. But hey, man, hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Love y'all. Peace out, nigga.